I did it. I can't believe it. I finally found my very first one. Hey nesters, welcome back to Nesting Haven. Today we are doing some thrift shopping. We are at Goodwill, so let's go ahead and check it out and see what kind of treasures we can find today to either resell or just to add to my own home. I usually do about 50-50, so let's see what we can find today. It's been so long since I've been able to find any cruel pictures. I used to find so many in this section, and it's kind of a bummer, but I always still check. I did spy this really awesome Emmett Kelly picture. It was a print. They're not worth as much as prints. Obviously, the paintings would be more, but such a great piece. There was actually an older gentleman that saw it at the same time I did, and he was kind of interested in it, so I just went ahead and moved on and let him have a chance at that. I saw this really great wooden frame and I had to check it out. There was this beautiful buck inside, and I believe it said it was from 1978. This is a kind of item that is really popular in my area because a lot of people have camps, so people will definitely go ahead and pick stuff up like that here locally. I could resell it and they would put it up to camp. So this is a really great photograph. I considered getting it. There was a little bit of damage at her chin there. There's a big scratch there. Had it not had that, I might have snagged it, but it always makes me sad when I see stuff like this at the thrift store. I'm like, is someone really donating their family pictures? I always wonder if it's an accident or not. They also had this darling little cross-stitch picture of Home Sweet Home. Very cute. These bigger pictures, it is hard to look through the section because they're pretty heavy and then they're kind of out of reach, so it's not the easiest to sift through. I thought this was kind of fun. I wasn't sure what it was, but I definitely was drawn to the bright colors of it. So at this particular Goodwill, they have a very tiny handpick section. I glanced at it real quick, and this was not marked. That was a vintage fiestaware gravy boat, is the Harlequin. They started coming out with those in the 1930s. That particular one was from 1942 to 1959 era. And it wasn't priced, so I just quickly put it back down. I wasn't really thinking, so that could have been a really expensive mistake on my part. If I could have got that for a few dollars, I definitely could have made a decent profit off of that. So I wish I would have got that. That was probably a pretty big mistake. I don't think it gets much kitschier than this. And this was such a fun set. They ended up being planters, and they kind of linked arms like this. So fun. Now, when I turned this one around, I saw a craze line that I didn't really like, but I was still considering picking it up. Had some issues on the handle. But this one unfortunately had some repair to it. You see that had fallen off at some point and cracked all down the side there. So that was kind of a bummer. I definitely would have picked those up had it not had a repair job to it. I did find a state souvenir piece. This was kind of just representation of the Amish country. I'm assuming it was probably from Lancaster. Absolutely love it. I have a small Amish community nearby where I live, and I would love living in the Lancaster area. I just think it's so fun. This was such a great find. I find it very hard to find vintage 4th of July decor, so I always snag it whenever I see it. And unfortunately, it doesn't really resell for very much, so I mean, I guess it's not really unfortunate. I plan to keep it myself for my collection, but it's a cute little music box in it. It rocks as it plays Yankee Doodle Dandy. They were only asking $3 for it. I just thought it was so fantastic. This was put out by Fred Roberts, and it's made in Japan. So just glancing through the knickknack shelf here, I saw this little animal on a spring. I'm such a kid, I had to hit it to see it wobble. They had a few bags here. This one was filled with some shoes, or maybe just a shoe. It's hard to see. It was even hard to see in person, and I apologize. But yeah, lots to dig through here. The little lady there's pretty cute. I guess I missed her. I don't know if it almost looked like it might have been a perfume bottle, like her head might have spun off there. Just a little disturbing, but So be sure to leave me a comment down below before you leave. Let me know what would have been in your shopping cart. What items are you seeing today that you definitely would have picked up? So this was a beautiful Indian chief bust. It had some wear issues to it, which is why I did not end up picking it up. But honestly, after looking online at what some of them go for, I don't think that one would have went for a whole lot, but a lot of the ones that are listed are kind of worn as well, and people don't really mind the age look to it, so I guess in the future I won't let the damage kind of, deter me from picking up something that is kind of popular. So initially I was just like, oh, let me pick these back up. I was wondering why these knickknacks had fallen over. I didn't even dawn on me that they were actually macrame beads. They had holes coming through the top and bottom, so a couple of cute teddy bears there. Now, I thought this was a fantastic figurine. I'm not really into the people figurines that much, and in the past when I've picked them up, they haven't really sold that well for me. This might have actually even been a planter. I can't quite see it anymore, but yeah, I think it actually was a little planter. They had a lot of fantastic vintage and antique books here. This is the Good Housekeeping Cookbook. The binding was kind of coming away from it, which I was a little upset about just because I really wanted to get this. And there was, I guess the food stains don't really bother me. It lets you know where the good recipes are, right? But that was put out in the early 40s, like 1942, 1944. So cool. They sell for about $15 to $20 if you wanted to resell it, but you guys know I collect cookbooks. I was just trying to find one in a little bit better condition, so I will hold off on that. You can see the damage here a little bit better at the end. You see what I'm talking about? It was kind of taped at the end there. Didn't look the best. And they had this adorable owl here, had a little bit of chipping at its eyebrow. But, it's a modern piece, but I probably would have picked it up if it didn't have that little chip right at the face. They did this end cap really cute. They did all of the different colored glassware that they had. Nice little rainbow shelf. So, unfortunately, I didn't really find anything that fantastic. A lot of it looked pretty new, so, I'm more into the vintage. They had these really beautiful Christmas glasses. These were put out by Libby. Beautiful water goblets. They have this really cool, like, street kind of Christmas town village scene on it. Beautiful church. Really fun. These weren't marked, they weren't priced. I'm not sure. I've been seeing that a lot today where things weren't priced on the shelf. And let me know in the comments, when things aren't priced, do you kind of just put them back, or do you tend to take them up and ask them how much they are? Sometimes I don't mind, but a lot of times I end up with a lot of stuff in my cart and it just seems like an extra thing that I have to make someone wait behind me, and sometimes I have to go out back and ask somebody. They don't always just price it right there on the spot, so it can take a little time personally. So sometimes I'm just like, oh, is it worth all the hassle? Let's see if you guys are as surprised as I was about the maker of these. Well, at least who distributed them. These were put out by Arby's in 1986. They're beautiful little Christmas glasses. Who would have ever thunk that Arby's was putting out something like this? I guess McDonald's, maybe Burger King, they always, more so McDonald's, I think, would put out some kind of souvenir glass, and maybe it was around that same time they were trying to compete or something. I'm not that familiar with Arby's. We did used to have one. It has been closed down for some time now. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I really love this sugar and creamer set. This originally would have came with a matching teapot as well. Not a bad deal for only $1 a piece. And then I love when I find things like this with the labels on it. Not so much the Ray Dunn. I guess I would pick Ray Dunn up to resell, but this barbecue sauce, because you can make it yourself, right, and store it. You can buy the seals to replace, I guess. I've never done it before, but I hear you can. But, you know, that's usually the deterrent. Someone sees the seal and it's a little messed up and not closing that well. But look into it and see. I think it is true. I think you can replace the seals. They had this stunning platter down here, and I wasn't familiar with the brand. They're asking $10 for it, but it said Luna stoneware, and then I couldn't make out the word. I don't know if you guys can go back and freeze the screen where I flipped it over and see if you can make out that last word, and you know, so I can help identify if it was actually worth it. I didn't really know what direction to go in with it. So this is a beautiful set of Staffordshire old granite in the fruit sampler pattern. They actually are hand engraved and then they glaze over them. I appreciate that they're selling them as a set for 20, but at the same time I wish they wouldn't tape them together because it's not very easy to check for quality, and in my experience when I've done that in the past, I will get them home taking their word for it that they're okay, which I know is not great to do, and there will be several scratched and damaged. I love these 1776 Anchor Hawking canisters. These are likely a bicentennial piece, and I've seen them listed both ways. I've seen them listed as a Maxwell House coffee, and I've seen them listed as a Tang. So let me know which drink came in these if you happen to know. It's kind of interesting that that seems to be, you know, going both ways there. I did it. I can't believe it. I finally found my very first one. This is the first time I found a fairy lamp at a thrift store. They were only asking $3 for it. This was made in the USA. It is a vintage Homeco clear glass cubist fairy lamp, and I was so excited to finally find one. I never see them in my area. I can't seem to get enough of the clear glass lately, I guess. I always really adore these kind of decanters. And this is a beautiful lemonade carafe. They were asking 3 for it. There was actually a spot on there that said limonada, which is, I'm guessing is Spanish. And so I thought that was kind of neat. Most of it said lemonade, but there was one spot with limonada on it. This was really fun. I've never seen a hand-painted ceramic clock before. She did have a little chip at the front of her dress. So I was trying to figure out these. They had no covers, and then just the shape that they were, it looks like the sugar was missing. There would have been a fourth one, and I'm guessing maybe some type of a Lazy Susan at the bottom, so I wasn't quite sure what anyone could use them for as is. Milk glass. It seems there's a lot of people that love it, and there's a lot of people that absolutely loathe it. This was really cool. It was a Fire King planter. I'd never seen this shape of milk glass before. I've actually never seen this piece, so I really like the unusual pieces. There are a lot of common milk glass out there, but that one was nice. They were asking $8 for that. You guys know I kind of feel convicted about picking up a lot of religious items to resell. I don't tend to do it. But I tell you, this plate here was absolutely stunning with the Last Supper scene on it. I've never seen something so beautiful, and it really does bring you to that moment in history. So I don't usually dabble in reselling clothing, but this dress, this little girl's dress, was too darling. It was made in the USA, totally vintage, just so stunning that I don't know, I was having a hard time walking away from it. I was like, I really want to give this a try. And look at the back. It has little sailboats on it. So stinking cute. I don't have any little girls, so I'm still contemplating. I'm like, if I pick this up, I'm going to have to resell it. So it was just so fun. This is like the teacher's uniform of the 90s. I feel like almost every one of my teachers was wearing something very similar to this with a nice scotch plaid. I do like the vest, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of fun and nostalgic. You don't see people wearing this too much anymore. I don't know. I haven't seen teachers in a while, so maybe they still wear this in class. That is going to do it for today's Thrift Along with me. Be sure you are subscribed so you can catch the thrift haul of everything I purchased today in tomorrow's video. If you would like to see more Thrift Along with me videos from me right now, go ahead and click the video on the screen and you guys can go ahead and check it out. I have a nice playlist for you. And yeah, have fun watching that and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!